Hello everyone, this is Zach here from XIFU. Okay, just want to do a quick sound check, please. Okay, let me know if my sounds and screen is okay. If let's say my sound and screen is okay, please type a one for me. Hello Ken, thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight again we will bring you a very special topic. Now this section here, okay, we will specifically look into market cycle in Bursa, and of course we're going to study the price movement to see what is actually going on, okay, possible going on, okay, in the upcoming few days or even weeks, or maybe some of the stocks or sectors that we can focus up and coming one. So today again I invited a very special guest. He's actually also so-called co-creators, okay, of our X chart over here, Mr. JK. Okay, so I think now it's 8:30. I will pass the floor to JK to start our section today.
Hi, thank you, Jack. Hi, good evenings, ladies and gentlemen. I saw on the line here is Ken Wang, right? Good evening to both of y'all. Okay, today's topic, I'm going to have a brief sharing on the price movement market cycle. Thereafter, I will talk about the present KLSC market cycle, the outlook of it, and pursuing with the stock analysis, which is basing on what we have learned today, will be on the price movement market cycle for those respective stock analysis. Of course, and with the Q&A, that you probably can throw in some stocks that you want us to take a look. We could share it on live. Okay. So before I really take off the actual contents, I would like to have a quick disclaimer here. It is just for sharing purpose. We are not doing any buy call or sell calls during these sessions. Please consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Okay. Okay. To kick off, let's take a look on the price movement market cycle. Within here, we'll be laying out on the structures and the characteristics of the price or the any index positions within the market cycle. Okay. Uh, for a quick one, so this is how the typical look of a market cycle. As you can see over the left side here, this will be the bullish regions, and the other right side here will be the bearish part. Okay, typically when we do market cycle, of course it could be applied to the periodicals respectively to the yearly, monthly, weekly, daily, and minutes, and so on. Okay, but mostly we will be relying very much on this daily to be more significant. Okay, of course if you do very short cycles intraday event, you can also zoom down to the minute level to use these market cycles approaches to do your short cycles events. Of course, whoever go with the year to months analysis, probably they will have to turn on into the weekly basis to view whether the cycle is matured or not, or it is ending part of the cycle. So whatever we are going to learn over these price movement market cycles here, it apply to all these. Of course, it will be respectively zoomed down into whoever, how long they wanted to stay in the trade position, whether you're in the very long term or very short cycle down to minute level. Okay. So bullish cycle and the bearish cycle, it is an up and down. Of course, most of the people would have said, I would prefer to have it to tackle it during this beginning of the cycle, and probably could have ending up selling over here. Of course, this will be a long position. So then if you were to do in the derivative, then you could probably do a short cycles in the shorting down events. So both cycle works equally. It depends what are the instruments that you are in your trade. Okay. So next, let's take a look of the structures. The structure itself, actually in the cycle, we subdivided into these four phases. The first one, we'll call it as the accumulation phase. Okay, accumulation phase, which is laying down below. And the markup phase is on the long position. Toward the top here, more or less a stagnant on the distributing of the whatever trade instrument you are in, and of course on the declining. These four phases to us as in the KLSE, of course we are interested over this phase here, which is the markup phase and sell off during the distributions area. Okay. Subsequently, we'll take a look on the individuals phases, their characteristics. But bear in mind, these will be the four phases we will be talking about. We will be very focusing very much on the accumulation and the markup phase. Okay. So let's take a look. The first one, the accumulation phase. Accumulation normally had in the position of the price residing below this red line. By the way, this red line itself, it is a simple moving average 200 line SMA. Okay, so during accumulations, the price position will be residing below this red SMA line, SMA 200. And of course, it will take, sometimes it might take very long if you are viewing in the daily chart. Of course, by this one, it is a daily chart mode. So typically, you will see a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, all the way down, and it is residing below the SMA 200 line. And you see those are yellow, green, blue line, those are the short-term line, which is also residing below the SMA 200 line. So most of the time that you will see the prices could have come to challenge the 200 line and reset again, come to challenge and reset again. And they will be getting lower and lower and very much nearer to the 200 line until to a stage, the ending of this accumulation phase here, most of the prices were almost touching the 200 line and started to challenge to get over. And the short-term moving average line also getting much closer to the SMA 200 line. That's more or less will determine the accumulation phase is coming to the end. And next is going to step into the markup phase in subsequence. So characteristics over here will be prices challenging the 200, but is still residing down below. One more key important thing that we have to pay attention is this 200 line, the SMA 200 line, it is still on the declining angle. It is still declining. That is the key part. Prices still residing below. Short-term EMA also be residing below that short-term the SMA 200 line. That is the characteristic. Of course, during this motion, this phase here, the buyer are in control. Buyer means that accumulation, the definition itself is it got to be some key good guys or deep pocket guys. It is residing here, taking up share with the deep pocket, buying in and hold it in position, buying and hold it in position. That's why we call it buyer gain control. Okay, prices might still be dropping until toward the end here, the characteristic changed. Prices started to challenge into or above the SMA 200, followed by the short-term EMA line coming to get above the SMA 200 line. That is toward the end already. Of course, that will be the very good next initials to aim for to take it on. Okay, so this will be the accumulation phase. So next, we take a look of the markup phase. Of course, when we will end of the accumulation phase here, we'll move on to the markup phase. Prices start to get crosses up above the 200 line. And during this particular instance, most of the 200 line will have to appear as a rounding bottom and tends to have round up next in subsequent. Flattening over here, gradually rounding up. And prices are residing above most of the short-term and even mid-term EMA. Of course, it has to be above the 200 line as well. So these are the typical initial stage of the markup phase. So this is where likelihood that we wanted to have our so-called mid-terms, mid to long-term trades positions to reside in. Park all your position that you want. This is where you want to get into. Okay, so the characteristic will be price started to shoot up. Of course, volume will come in together. Subsequently, all the EMA will start to stay up above the 200 line. And once you have ticked off the trend, the gradual movement, or even the key important part will be the higher high, higher low. You see the higher high and the higher low position. That means the uptrend channel established. And mostly all these prices will be rising and riding on the short-term EMA line. Of course, if it's a little bit more severe pullback, right? So this SMA or the EMA 30 will be quite supportive. Worst case will be come down to near to the 50 if it's slightly more heavier pullback. So typically, our next aim, it will be any of the new breakout once it's getting into the markup phase will be your next position to come in. Like this case here, this will be your next position. This case here will be your next position. This case here is a gradual consolidation here. The breakup will be your next position. So typically that is how we will do over the markup phase. Okay. Okay. Of course, toward the end here, how do we judge? Are we actually coming close to the end of the markup phase? Typically, will be judged by the short-term EMA line. Once the short-term EMA started to have the crossing down, you see this will be the range of the crossing down. The crossing down. So they will be toward the end of the markup phase already. So you got to be careful. Perhaps you want to take off or profiting some of your positions if you have in the quantities investments over here. Okay, so along with this type of the pullback, right, it is still okay that you could stay along the uptrends. Okay, stay until you see the short term started to pull back and crisscrossing each other. Of course, this will be the worst case of that will be into the distribution phase already. Okay, so the characteristics over the markup initial state will be crossing over, stay with the higher high, higher low. Okay, short term having to rise quite steeply, rounding bottom over the SMA 200 and gradually on the positive gradients already. Positive gradient all the way. Okay, so until this end of the markup phase will be the EMA line started to crisscrossing each other to pull back and come down below the probably into the midterms. Okay, that will be the characteristics. Particularly over the distribution side here. Of course, just how I mentioned, the crisscrossing will be the first initial stage of the distribution phase for us to probably take partially of your position. Of course, there will be a new high to come. Tendency that over this new higher high, right? If you were to coupling with the moving average convergent divergent MACD, right, you probably will find a potential bear divergence happening over this top here. So that would probably would tell us we are actually toward the end of the cycles of this ramp up. Okay, of course during these sessions over the distribution phase here will be the seller is in control. So you will probably see a lot of peak here will be a huge volume. Of course, when you come to the final peak over here, normally the lower volume will appear during this peak versus this or this. So the volume will pick up along this way until the last peak here. The volume normally also turn up to be a bear divergent as well. Okay, that one you have to be careful. So that is more or less would have indicated the distribution phase. Tariff indication of the end of the distribution phase, which is where we do not want to see at least the first lower low. Like this case here, the first lower low. So these are all higher low during the markup phase. And this will be the first lower low below. And at the same time, happen that within this top stock appearance here, it is crossing down below the 200. You see all the short-term EMA line, which is yellow, green, blue on the uptrend, and become the opposite with the blue, green, yellow, which is in the downtrend positions. So once you see these tariff crossovers on the over the end of the distribution phase here, you got to be very, very careful. So do not hold any position once you see this type of the lower low. Get up. Okay, so that will be a typical characteristics. Next, you'll take a look on the declining phase. Declining phase, unless you really do on the derivative trade positions that you do the shorting events, but not within Malaysia that we do on the equities, unless you do into the CPO or any other where you probably will do in the currency trade. So this one probably will help. Characteristics over here, you will see a lot of lower high, lower low. So it is downtrend channel established. One key important that you have to pay attention is the 200 line started to round top and into the negative gradient. Instead of the markup phase here is on the positive gradient. This is on the negative gradient. So once you got down below the round top and below the downtrend declining of the SMA 200 line, unless you do short events, otherwise do not hold any long positions anymore. Okay, so that will be very much the events. So right after this declining phase, it was still declining until the new bottom. The cycle of the accumulation phase will repeat in subsequence. After this, we'll take a look on the some other examples. So like this case here, you see price below accumulation, price above 200 into the markup phase. Over the top, short-term EMA pullback, crisscrossing down below the 200 line and getting lower. So that is end of the cycle. Normally here we do not hold any equities long positions. Okay, this is where we'll start to hold our long positions for the equity. Okay, that's one of these. Let's take a look of this another example. The spiky effects that gone up, the pullback effect of the short-term EMA line crossing down below the 200 and decaying off. So that is kind of a new challenge will start preparing to come back. Accumulation phase into the markup. So another example, the markup phase, distribution on top. Similarly, when they come down below, this is where they started to push down all the declining accumulation into the new markup phase. Similarly, onto this another example. So you see the SMA line was toward the end. The EMA line, the pulling back effect, it is ending up there. So that's where you probably will get out from the market. So key important is this juncture. Okay, key important is this juncture. Okay, after this, I would like to share from the KLSE perspective and into the stock analysis perspective. We take a look of these couples market outlook. First, we take a look on this the KLSE. This is the daily view, okay, and this is the weekly view. Allow me to turn on to the live chart now. Okay, this is the live view of the KLSE as up to today. Okay, so this is when the lowest of the during the pandemic start, the March 20th 2020. Okay, the rebound with the pullback and the crisscrossing up. So from here, from this look, this is the daily view. From this look here, do you see that actually it is something resembled to what we have been discussing earlier? Something like this. Crisscrossing over. Accumulation, crisscrossing over. So this is where actually it started to step into the markup phase. Lower low, challenging to break above the 200 line during this accumulation. It still push back and rebound, push back and rebound. Finally, during this juncture here, which is somewhere near to about October's 2023, October, November, that time frames, KLSE finally stay above the 200 line and get stable. Short to mid-terms, EMA also rushing through and crisscrossing up and stay through until on the January 2024 it started to have the recent breakup. And all these short-term EMA is riding above the rounding bottom of the 200. That's where it took off. So are we at the end toward the end of the markup phase? What was the characteristics? Remember? We need to see all these higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Have we seen any lower low? And is all the EMA started to crisscrossing like this? Neither. So we are still on the riding trend. No doubt there were some pullback, pullback, pullback. It is still supported with the short-term to mid-term EMA line. So resemble to these current positions. You see, our short-term yellow, blue, green, and purple, blue, brown, all these are still on the rising. EMA wasn't crossing yet. So we are still in position. No doubt short-term oscillator tell us that yes, there was a pullback. This kind of pullback and this kind of pullback, maybe it still might have to take some time to come. Perhaps next sessions, I would like to share about this interpretation combined with this part for next sessions. But today I will just elaborating on this markup phase here. So higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, pullback. So how low would these lows to stay? We do not know. Of course, with the oscillator's interpretation here, it will still take a while to come back. It is okay. As long as this uptrend channel is still established, higher low, higher high, which is resemble to this markup phase. So likelihood where we are now, as of our KLCI position, this is a long-term view. It has pulled back down to a 2005. This is during the 2009, the subprime issue. So you can view that actually we have the phase 2. So this is resemble the phase of where we have experienced. It got through up. Are we close enough? By the way, this is on the weekly chart now. This is a weekly chart now. So because I'm viewing a very long-term interpretations, but so we are very close to here. All the short-term EMA about to directly cross up the 200 line, which is we are very close. So I will guessing we are somewhere very close to this region. This is my guess. We are very close to this region. Similarly over there. So we could be somewhere around. So we are awaiting for all these short-term EMA to rush up and stay until when it started to crisscrossing. That will be the end of the cycle. So starting of the cycle or the markup phase until end of the cycle here. So this will be the starting of the markup phase. While probably last week there was a jerk over the market with some of the stock was severely being pulled down. Okay, there was a jerk in the market, especially toward the end of the 31st May. Okay, also coupling with the financial report on the release. So my guessing that our current position will be somewhere close enough to here, because all the EMA just about to cross over. Resemble here. Okay, so of course, this will be a very long term. If I to tune back to a daily interpretations during the January that time frame, that should be a very rightful take off of the markup phase for the FBM KLCI. So how about the FBM small cap? See, this is a FBM oh, sorry. This is FBM KLCI's small cap. It is still riding. We are still seeing the riding, not like you see something like crisscrossing, a daily chart. This is on the crisscrossing, is spelled to end of the markup phase. We are still on the riding until if they say you jog too long, staying between this about 19,000 here for too long, whereby all the short-term EMA started to pull back with the crisscrossing like this, that will spell the negative on the market already, particularly on the small cap. As of currently, small cap is actually making a new high. Of course, compared within these 5 years, this is making a new high, above the 17,000 positions. And how about for the FBM mid cap? It looks quite resemble, right? So mid cap, small cap looks very resembles. Okay, sorry. So of course, even with the weekly chart, it is still on the rising. How about the technology? This is the technology longer terms, at least since the 2020 events. So there was a pandemic initial stage, rising all the way until the crisscrossing. So this is just an initial stage. So you can see that KLCI technology, from the technical perspective, I have to stipulate here, technical perspective, I do not include any regional or any international events come in yet. No, this is pure technical view. So that will be the initial stage of the technology to take off. Of course, this part here very much led by the notions and the GCY lately. So the accumulation actually is residing over here. The good turn on of the markup phase will be initiated from this region. It actually started about since May or April, that time frame, end of April. So it's about just merely 1 month. So I would anticipate technology probably will have the subsequent show to come. So okay, so very much this will be on the our current KLSE's views. So let's take a look on the subsequent recent successful case. Okay, you see this YTL, which is initially when it took off during the 2023. Okay, this is YTL. Same, even with the power. So if you do view this part here, the 200 line is rounding bottom. Of course, a lot of accumulation and residing over the twist of the accumulation into the markup phase. And this part will be the more tariff of the takeoff point, which is somewhere around 70 cents plus. Okay, the EMA took off riding above. SMA 200 line is rising along the way. Okay, so that's where the markup. So are we close to the end now? That will be one of the doubtful. This is what I have mentioned just now. If we are over the peak here, so it's a bit risky at this moment that I see an initial stage of the pullback, which is coupling with the bear divergence on this MACD here. So you got to be careful. They say whoever have a YTL bubble or YTL mother share, right? could have planned some profit takings from this stage onward. Take some initial profit take wherever you are from this riding. Okay, should have planned some profit takings. Okay. Next, we could have seen is the SCG. So it is the same thing. Accumulation phase, the initial stage of the markup. It is an initial of the double bottom and higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So that's where it took off. So that will be the most good ideal positions for us to zoom in as for your initial positions. So take a look over here, the fundamental itself, which is Pilchowski is looking at about somewhere around 7, which is a pretty good during then. Okay, a lot of improvements over their fundamental as well. And if you to take a look on our this opinion analysis, so this is somewhere on the July 2023, December 23. We also make some studies on the stocks already. So September, this is more or less we had actually published September 27, you see, 2023 during the 34.5, which is somewhere around here. We already established some informations into this opinion here on this extract on XIFU, mentioning that this guy is coming in. Because once you step into the initial stage of the markup phase, likelihood you will plan. Of course, during these times here, typically what we would do is the stop loss position will be the first immediate lower low. So if you plan over here, this is where you start to plan to get up. So maximum probably you'll lose out about 10%. But if you really have took position during then, it is always on the higher low, higher low, higher low. You never have to plan anything until today. Okay. So the next probably you can take a look, even the power well. Of course, all these are actually cable related, power engineering related. Actually might lead to some these data centers information. So similarly, you look at over here, power well. When was it? February here. So this is the time that we started to trigger, which is somewhere around about 26 cents. As of today, which is about 48 already. So it merely took you for about 4 months to take the ride on this one. So basing on the this market cycle approach, right, it could be very helpful for any, especially the mid to long term trader or investors to reside some of your investment during this initial state to come. Okay, so I actually got a couple of others stock to show. Wait. So you see the JCY, actually everybody experienced it. KSL. Sorry, it keep freaking over here. The rounding bottom of the 200 line and gradually on the rise. And that's where actually the took off of the phase. So here you got to be prepared. The initial state of the bear divergence started to portray already. And Pekat, the most recent. Sorry. Pekat, the most recent during March 14, January, March 4th, March 20th. We keep repeating to publish on the movement of these particular stocks on the go. So during then it's merely about 40 plus. today you see about 90 cents, easily more than 100% already. And reasonably, they say you were to look into some other like sign property during the initial stage of the took off, the accumulation phase moved into the markup phase. That's how it took off. Huh? So perhaps you probably might want to ask, are there any other potential initial stage stocks that we wanted to take a look? Yes, this is the short list I have. These are the initial. You see, like this particular stock. Let me zoom out. L2. So the declining phase, the accumulation challenge to break up the 200 part is still decline. Challenge, but it's still decline. All the EMA hasn't crossed tariff-free. Yes, until this particular stage here, tariff-free got over. So this is at the 22 cents during then. So now you are almost at 30 plus already. So I will consider this one also the probably 20-30% of the initials. But if you look much further, that was the initial of the formal this GDB stock. It started crisscross over and stay above rounding bottom of the or flattening of the 200 is getting on the rise. Okay, so we are actually having a repeating stage around here. The move up with it. Okay, and actually within the opinion here, we have been keep monitoring for very long since January or even 2023. I think we also have mentioned it during the September, somewhere around here. So the next potential we probably wanted to take a look. Actually, this is the whole list I have been skimmed through. CEKD. We published inside the opinion here, May 30th. Oh, sorry. See, declining 200 accumulation challenge the decline, the declining of the 200 until it directly stay over. So we are monitoring for this complete 53 and a half, the breakup of this final tail here probably will have potentially to take off in subsequent. Even they say you look at their fundamental, okay, fundamental here, the current price 52 and a half, the dividend of 3.8 with this current 52 and the dividend of the 3.8, PE at 16, ROE at about 9, net cash company, Piotrowski stay at 7. So I would consider quite significant. Honestly, the fundamental was quite okay companies to look at, which is with this 7 position, which is pretty good. Of course, all these 7 positions, we have it from these analyzers. This is analyzers position, and the our TAS itself already stay above 67, which is pretty good already. We want to look at for the at least above the 50s. So now already 67. So it's getting ready to kick off. So all the while over here, after this higher low, a minor higher low on above the 200 line, rounding bottom over 200 line, it's preparing to take off already. So I will consider this will be the initial stage of the markup phase. So all these things, perhaps next session I will talk about it. How do we coincide to analysis on this movement and this movement? Take a look, the volume come in. Am I right? You see the volume? So today this is on the T2. T2. Let's see whether it could challenge beyond the 535 or not. Okay. And also any others like Iris, initial stage. So get over only. Fundamentally, it is started to have some improvement, okay, but not as great. Okay, Piotrowski stay at 6 net cash position for Iris. And also you may take a look of Mobilia, initial stage. Okay, initial stage. I send the information during the May 21st. Okay, so you take a look, even the Mr. DIY accumulation phase over here. Accumulation phase, SMA 200 line, initial round bottom. So once you get across above it, you see, all this price rushing up from 150 to 18 already, about 20% already. So now it take a spot crash over there. It's okay, they say it would actually hovering around this range about 180 plus to about 170, maybe around 10 cents around here. It's okay, let it hovering until your next stage when you see this MACD started to cross up again. That will be the next ideal positions to hunt down this Mr. DIY again. So these are things that I would treated it as the next higher low to observe now. I would see somewhere around 170 as a support for this DIY. And Ramsel, rounding bottom, initial stage again. So let's see whether it break up this or not, 54. So today it started to challenge at 50. This couple of days, I think it's challenged near to the 54 there. See whether it can stay up or not. So the initial state started to portray the accumulation, break up, pull back, higher low, higher low. So see whether it will stay above or not. Once you could be able to stay above, any of this region will be prevailed already. Huh? So I do have a list over here. Maybe you can take a look in later part. So something like this, it was published during the May 19th LNP per Bahat. Huh? Ceiling also. Round bottom over. It started to portray. Ceiling we published May 6th. Well, somewhere around here, which is about 21 cents over here. So today it already stood at about 32, 31, 32 cents already. So from here high up to there, we published. So maybe I would suggest do a quick registration. Come to pay attention to this opinion here for the articles. Of course, here you can select, you can respond to the ceiling immediately. You can always switch back to this market, right? So that will be a daily events of the publishing of the articles from our teams and the publishers around. They will send up their opinions stocks. Like see, I send the CEKD. Did I show the CEKD just now? This CEKD, the initials, yeah, I just mentioned, see whether it break up above the 535 or 54 or not. So MNG, WCT also formally actually it hiked up. So all these are very crucial. But how do you hunt down all these potential stocks? Of course, could have help from the our trade signals, which I mentioned last week. Okay, I think I share quite a substantial information over this tonight, and perhaps I would like to take some questions from the floor or any stocks to analyze from the floor. Jack, I
Yeah,
pass it back to you. See, you can pick it up.
yeah, sure, JK. So once again, thanks to JK. I think if you have followed JK just now 8 to 10 till now, I think some very important information, right? Whenever we do any trades, okay, doesn't matter it's resting or short term tradings, right? Always very important, okay, to know where is the location of the stock. That's why market stages, or maybe like just now JK mentioned, right? Market cycle is very important. So of course, of course, we're not going to do any US market for today. Probably I will pick up three questions. Probably we start with SNS, JK.
SNS.
Yeah.
Okay. We did talk about this. No, we didn't. Did we? I don't know. I can't remember. Oh yeah, we
Uh,
did. We did.
oh yeah, just now
I
we
think
covered already. Okay. Or if let's say covered already, we skip to how about PPHB?
PPHP. By the way, what I said we did is because I think last session we mentioned about this one. If it's not lower than all these, remember I mentioned that it is higher high, higher low. So we were on the 21st, so this is the date, no? We were
Okay.
in.
Also, we covered last week. It's not this week, right?
Yeah, we cover last session. I mentioned that so long as you are not lower than this 44, stay tuned. So, and if you
Okay.
happen that you're lucky enough, you already took positions from this initial stage, right? By all means, stay. All these are still on the rising. Stay
Mm.
on. Stay on to this particular stock. If you already had and you're still holding on it, stay tuned. You have not seen any bear divergence. All these MACD hasn't crosses down. It's still okay. All the EMA is still on the rising. So the markup phase is still intact. And higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Just like this particular case. Formerly I mentioned not lower than this one. So when you are here, not lower than this one. So if 575 will be your least stop loss positions to hold. The least one. That's for the SNS. Okay. If you already have it, stay tuned. Hang on to it until you see probably the next stage of all the EMA, particularly like this 10, 20, 30, it started to crisscrossing down. Then you have to catch up your positions.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
As for the SNS, you mentioned the other one is PPHB.
PPHB. Yeah. I think it's
PPHB.
public package.
Yeah. So PPHB, of course, whether you want to take the new position or you already had or you want to come in or not. So the preparation on this one is this will be the crisscrossing of the markup phase. Price stay above the 200 rounding bottom. So far, long term wise, SMA 200 is still on the rise. It's still okay for long term. Whoever, if you could have hold your position from the much lower, maybe below 60 cents, those guys, stay tuned. No problem. You are still in healthy positions. All the short-term EMA line is still on the rise, except within this 1 to 2 weeks. You see this 10 EMA, the yellow line started to cross down. If you can't see clearly, let me magnify to zoom in. This is a special feature that we built. So the yellow, blue, green line indicate that the uptrend is still intact. Yellow, blue, green line is still intact over here. If it within these short terms, maybe within a couple of days here, it could have rebound beyond 90 cents. It could have potentially resumed, but be careful. Once it resumes somewhere near to $1 here, right? Watch out for this breakup higher high. Will this actually follow to become a new lower high on the MACD? If it's appeared to be like this MACD lower high versus the higher high on the PPHP here, right? Like this, then you got to be careful, better catch up. Of course, when I draw this line means that if this MACD come up and make a round top, come down again. Of course, the confirmation it has to be after crisscrossing down the signal line. So the higher high versus the lower high on the MACD, right? This is a bear divergence. We should get up from there. Okay, it is time for us to catch up. So there's so much that I could mention about the PPHE, unless you are the very long-term guy came from somewhere around 50 cents. Those people, fundamentally, this stock was about 4 times equally, still pretty strong on all the profitabilities concerned on the fundamental. And the NTA was 147, pretty good, PPHP. the NP net asset per share. If they say you're already registered, right, you can always click on this NAPH. It will pop up and give you the explanation together with the formula. You see, we have the formula inside. How do we actually compute the numbers? Okay, so a small dividend of 0.43, not really attractive, but the earning per share growth are fantastic, 25%, which is very good. As our suggested need to be more than 20, very good. Okay, so PE merely about 4 plus, ROE is about 12. Net cash company, Piotrowski stood at about 7. I would say quite strong, except the short term was severely pulled down. That will actually create a new short term to pull back for this hand down near somewhere around 1 ringgit as a short term gain. Okay, that's for PPHP. Next,
Okay. Okay, thank you, JK. Okay, but we take last one. IT Max.
IT Max. Is there? I think I saw a short news lately. Now June 4th, IT Max got a partnership agreements. Uh, they got some agreements to do some things. There's the June 4th. They got the market news. So anyway, IT Max. This is on the daily view. Higher high, higher low. So the short term EMA, short term maybe 10, 20, 30, right, will have a short crisscrossing. So if whoever have some positions one, the new ramp out here, you got to be careful. If the ultimate high of this one does not assist by this MACD to get a higher high, right, then it could be a short-term end cycle because it already portrayed one short-term EMA crisscrossing events. No doubt, I have not seen a lower low lah. Okay, instead, I will have potentially see a new higher high maybe in subsequent a day or two for this one to protrude through because the volume for today is very significant. Coupling with all these MACD, DMI, and RSI, all these are very biasing for the uptrend events. Okay, these signals, the short-term events are very biasing. Okay, so whoever they say you will be coming from about 140 this range, right? Or even this 180 this range, right? You are still healthily can hold your position. Wait until when you next see the new higher high over here, coupling with this new higher high, that means the much further it will come. If it's somewhere near this new high around here, coupling with this lower high appear on the MACD, right? Then it will start to portray a new short-term pullback already. Okay, because it started to pull back once, so that will anticipating the next targeting the bear divergent events to portray over here, which is something resemble like this. I will watch out for this type of event. It may come up near to somewhere around this lower high and cross down, right? So that means stipulating that that higher high probably will be a short-term pullback might happen already. Okay, because you already vary from about 140 coming near to here. They say you double it up somewhere, maybe about 280 will be your next target. Okay, that is for the IT Max because it coupled with today's news, June 4th.
Okay. Thank you, JK. So I
Yeah,
think
you bet.
this is the okay. Sorry, JK. Anything to add on?
No. You may
Okay.
carry on.
All right. So I think this will be our last questions for today. Down is almost 9:30 already. So once again, if you are in this live Facebook section, okay, appreciate if you can help me to click a like buttons for me. Help me to share this out. Okay. So again, definitely we will again continue this kind of market outlooks or market cycle kind of topic. So probably 2 weeks from now, JK, we're gonna do another one.
Sure. Yeah. I
Okay.
think next session probably I will prepare something to discuss on this short-term oscillator coupling with some of these turning point events.
Okay, okay, great. So another new things, okay, for our user to learn. So do remember, if you are new to our channel or new to our so-called tools over here, this is XChart. So you can actually go to seafood.my, register yourself a new account. You can get 30 days free trial. So from there, you actually can access all our features over here. So once again, thank you for joining me in this section. Uh, we will end our section today, and we will see you next 2 weeks. Okay, in the same time, 8:30 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, JK.
Thank you. Bye bye.